Life feels like death when you never live your life. Sometimes we look up and all we see is the endless black vacuum of space. No tether, nobody around to pull us back down. So if you're feeling broken, this is for you. Life can be lost, but loss can also create life. Sometimes all it takes is a shift in perspective. You don't need to go back to where you were. You just need to find a way forward. This isn't a pep talk. It's a blueprint. 3 steps to picking up the pieces to survive the void and start living again. Step 1 is embracing the break. You need to feel it to heal it. We're taught to hide the cracks, to say, I'm fine, and then keep on moving. I've done it, you've done it, we all have. But that lie's not gonna save you. It just keeps your wound open. Denial is a short-term drug with long-term interest. It buys you an hour of numb and sells you a year of confusion. So the first thing to do when you break, you have to allow it. That sounds counterintuitive, right? But strength doesn't come from pretending. Just like the gym, the muscles only grow after they're torn down. You don't get stronger by avoiding the break. You get stronger by surviving it. So instead of saying I'm fine, be honest with yourself. Tell yourself, I'm disappointed with myself. Instead of saying I don't care, say I'm pissed off. How are you gonna solve the solution if you don't know the problem? Your emotions is just a part of your mind, and your mind is just another muscle you need to strengthen. So let yourself break. Cry if you need to, scream into a pillow, punch a punching bag until your knuckles hurt. Do whatever helps you feel the hurt, because healing doesn't start with hiding. Healing starts with honesty. It's in your broken moments that we discover what we're really made of. Once you face the pain, that's when the real shift happens. But next, we need to change what the crack means. That's where your pain turns into fuel. Step 2 is reframing the break. You need to find the gold in the cracks. See, you faced the pain. Now it's time to see it differently. So here's a question for you. What does your break mean? You can decide it means you're defeated, that life will never be the same in the worst way possible. Or you can choose. You can choose to see this break as an opening, a chance to rebuild something better than before. The situation hasn't changed, but the way you interpret it can change everything. Think about pottery in Japan. When it's shattered, it's not glued back to hide the cracks. It's repaired with the gold. The scars become the art. That's what your life can be. The cracks don't erase your story. They highlight it. They shine. Lost your job? Maybe that's the chance you get to push to something you really cared about. Heartbroken? Maybe that's teaching you how to set your standards or how to love yourself first. Failure? Maybe it's clearing the path towards something that fits you better. So listen, this isn't just some feel-good talk. This is how growth really works. Most people who grow through hell eventually come out stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Pain forces evolution. That means you're not broken beyond repair. You're right in the middle of becoming. Here's the most powerful shift. You're not just broken. You're broken open. Open to change, open to learning, open to reinventing yourself. The old you, the one built on these old assumptions and expectations, might be gone. But in its place, the new you is being forged. That's the gold in the cracks. That's how you turn a setback into a comeback. So ask yourself, what is this break trying to build me? Patience, courage, discipline, compassion? Because when you see your break as a part of your making, you're not just breaking, you're reclaiming your power. That spark of meaning, that's hope. And hope is enough to keep moving forward. And once you've found that spark, it's time for the final step. It's the step where you act. Step 3 is where the comeback takes the shape. Step 3, rebuild stronger. Create your comeback. There comes a point where reflection has to turn into movement, where pain has to turn into progress, where meaning has to become motion. This is step 3, the hardest step. It's the step most people never take, because rebuilding doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. It happens when you wake up to the same struggle day after day and choose to take one step forward anyway. Rebuilding is not about perfection. It's about bricks. One brick today, another brick tomorrow. Then brick by brick, the wall rises. So getting out of bed, that's a brick. Sending the resume, that's another brick. Going for a walk, going to the gym, that's another brick. It doesn't matter how small, it matters that you keep stacking. Because progress is not measured in miles, it's measured in inches. And inches, when added up, can move mountains. Think about this. When a bone heals, the callus that forms at the break is stronger than the original spot. That's life's design. The place where you thought you'd collapse, those can become the strongest parts of you. And that's what rebuilding does. It takes weakness and turns it into strength. It takes fractures and turns them into foundations. It turns I'm broken into I'm building. At first, it feels like nothing. Like you're pushing against a wall that won't move. But slowly, quietly, something shifts. You'll notice you're a little more patient, a little more grateful, a little more determined. And then one day, you'll look back and realize you've built something out of the rubble. And the truth is, you're not supposed to rebuild the old life. That's gone. You're supposed to build something new, something stronger. Because the break wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The demolition before the foundation. The old you cracked, so the new you could rise. And then when days feel slow, when the voice in your head says, "What's the point?" remember the reason you chose back in step 2. Family, dreams, pride, the simple hunger to see what tomorrow might look like. Hold on to that reason. Let it fuel every brick you lay, because every time you act, no matter how small, you're proving the break did not break you. You're proving you are still here, still fighting, still building. Day by day, brick by brick, you are becoming unbreakable. You're no longer the one who shattered. You're the one who rebuilt, the one who turned pain into power, This is your comeback. This is your story, and it starts now.